Hello, Weirdos of the West, and today we are giving you our thoughts on Guildmaster, so you can decide if this game might be right for you and your collection. At the end, we're going to put it on our Nerds of the West ranking board, which is how we ultimately rank games here. Not an objective 1 to 10 scale, but just compared to every other game we've played this year, what would we prefer to play? At the end of the year, we re-rank everything, get our best game of the year, which is important because Guildmaster won our favorite game of 2020, the first time we did a ranking list. We, the people that are going to be talking about this, my name is Tom, we have Chris.
What's going on?
We have a Beck.
About.
Before we go any further, I do have to say that back in 2019, this game was sent out to us, so do keep that in mind. We'd like to be transparent and honest. And this is the first time these two have played the game. They've only played it at 3 players. That is all we'll be talking about. I'm mostly going to stay quiet because I've given my thoughts before. I'll pipe in when I need to. I will say that Guildmaster is a game of action selection, economy, and upgrades. Each round, you are choosing the actions you take hidden behind this lovely board to then choose with your heroes and adventurers the strength of the actions that you want to take. Choosing which actions you want to do with those adventurers to build upgrades, hire more adventurers, and complete quests that will ultimately give you money, fame, resources to do things to get more fame, with a little bit of a backup plan in case somebody else takes the action you want before you get to it. Action selection, sequencing, you can work together, you can work against other people. There's a lot of little mechanics that add up throughout the game that hopefully gives you a very brief overview of what is going on. The person with the most fame at the end wins. I'm just going to open the floor to you. What did you guys think of Guildmaster?
I definitely see why it was favorite game of the year for 2020. Big stretch. You have to.
There's a cat on the floor.
There's a cat, and he just did a big stretch. I definitely see why it won favorite game of 2020. It's one of those games where you play it and then you're like, how can I play it again, but better? Do I want to play it at 4 players? No, simply because Tom made a comment about halfway through where he was like, when it's 4 players, everyone's going for those build upgrades so much faster. But
at the same time, if you know they're going for that, you can do the other thing first.
Sure. The big issue that I had, and this is probably just because I was learning the game while playing it, is I felt like I was locked out of building from the first couple of rounds because I couldn't get gold off the ground. So it's just one of those things where, like, it's one of those, I like it because you get to basically pick how you want to try and win the game. Like, you need to dip your toes into everything else just to make sure that you don't just pick one thing and do it. Like, you can't get contracts if you don't hire adventurers, and you can't hire adventurers if you don't have gold, and you can't get more gold unless you upgrade your tavern, which you can't really upgrade it without getting contracts. So it all works together really well. I don't think I'll want to play it at 4 players.
Fair enough. My thoughts on the game. Mechanically, it was pretty much like a great engine builder. I like many engine builders that are great, in my opinion, are ones that are simple and straightforward. You have 1, maybe 2 resource types, and you're really trying to sequence things in the right way. And part of the strategy comes from how you perform the actions and in what order, and choosing an avenue for success. And things didn't diverge way too far, like in some other engine builders that we've had. So, for example, Beck was explaining that, I did get my bar up to the highest level as quickly as I could, and I was just generating that income. But if that failed, I always had the option of getting gold from doing other things like contracts and such, or even just wandering. The whole mechanic of the wandering, where you don't waste an action per se, gives you a bit more flexibility.
Yeah, if someone else takes the action you want, you still have something to do. You're not going to just miss out.
Yeah, exactly.
I do appreciate that with wandering as well. It's not just you couldn't win the game by wandering.
No.
And it's simply because you need more dice to be able to really get something from it, and you can't get more dice without more adventure.
Exactly. To put it in simple terms, wandering, you roll dice for every 10 points you roll on the dice, you get a gold and a fame. But when a basic contract is going to give you 2 gold and 3 fame for basically the same result, it's never going to be as good. It's just nothing.
It just doesn't feel like it feels bad.
My problem with it the first time I played it was basic contracts, backup contracts were always better. But if you didn't draw a backup contract, you could do. You kept drawing Gale contracts, then you were just stuck to wandering. So you were at a disadvantage.
What I was like, I didn't pick these up until the last 2 rounds. Oh no, this one was one where it was a boon that I could keep. The last one I drew was that one, but it was too late for me to look at it and assign it to something because we'd already picked what we were doing. And I wasn't doing anything where if I'd failed, I'd had the ability to wander.
Yeah.
So the only thing I'd had was intellect, and I had at no point intellect.
Which I think is mostly just a negative at the start of the game, when it's like, I need that extra little bit to get going. At the end of the game, you've hopefully divested your crew into one of the 6 attributes so that you can do like 2 or 3 of the attributes. You start kind of majorly in one, a little bit in another, end up in 3 or so that you can really solidly do to hit the massive dice rolls needed for, for the big rewards at the end.
I really did like the skills. Like, it sort of reminds me of D&D because you got like, the 6
thematically, right? Let's talk thematics.
Makes sense. And like each of the heroes, even your novice ones, they start with, possibly up to 2 different kinds of skills in their skill set, and you can mix and match them. And it gives you like something to think about while you're planning who you're going to assign to which order, because you want to be making maximal use of all those skill points and diversifying as much as possible. And also then for later contracts like the legendary ones, you really do need other people's help. And there was rarely a time where you just like one-shot it. I think Beck managed to one-shot one in the very last round of the game, and they defeated quite a few of us. Well, not defeated, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, a few bad rolls, and that's how it goes.
You can't possibly do it alone.
I'm normally not a huge fan of luck-based games, right? I've said that before. I like Euros. This has the right amount of luck where I enjoy going, all right, I know I'm going to need to roll at least 7 dice. There's no point in me going for it unless I can roll 7 dice, so I can build towards that. There's still the luck element that I might not roll it, but I can mitigate it. There's just enough mitigation and enough luck that it feels all right.
It's luck manipulation that makes it work, because you do have the ability to change rolls just to straight 5s.
Skill upgrades.
Granted, you can only do it once because otherwise it's OP, but it's the manipulation aspect of it that makes it work.
How did you feel about and it's almost manipulation, but the figuring out what other people are going to do and sequencing your actions and just the mind games that exist in this can get to you.
That's probably the one part about it I really don't like. Like, I do appreciate that you can't all build for 10 gold in a turn. Like, you have to hire more builders, and if they're off doing Chris's tavern, I need to hire more to come and do mine. And it's like, so it does cost more. Again, like, I didn't have a lot of money at the start, so like hiring adventurers and stuff was a little bit more difficult for me. And then trying to play the game of, like, I really didn't start building till the end because you guys had done all the building at the beginning, but having to keep that in the back of my mind going, can I build? How much do Tom and Chris have to build? Chris is done, so it's really just Tom that might mess this up for me. I'm just going to recruit instead or something like that. So, and then at the end, like, we're talking about which contracts we were going to go for in an attempt to try and work together, but then also in the back of my brain, I'm like, I don't know if Tom's actually going to do that. Tom might be doing the only thing that he wants to do. I don't know. Like, if I had managed to roll for 3, like if I hadn't rolled so terribly, I would have won the game because I would have had a legendary. I don't think I would have. You
would have also got the points for completing the mission.
I would have got the points for completing the mission, but it was just like, it's the mind games of it that I'm like,
not for you.
Not for me. Okay. But like,
I like that the mind games are there.
I would still play it again, even with it. It's just, it's really frustrating when it's like, for instance, it's just really frustrating when you go to do something, but you've just done it in a different order to somebody else, and all of a sudden you can do nothing but wander. Like, I just...
Yeah, for sure.
Especially if you miss out on a contract because your contracts are out of order, like, in not in right order, because then it's just...
You are absolutely right that it's frustrating. It sucks. But I like the challenge of that.
Sure. Look...
Yeah, my favorite game is Roll for the Galaxy, and it has a very similar mechanic where you're sequencing which of the 5 phases that you want to occur for all the players, but you only get to lock one in yourself. So imagine a 4-player game, there's 5 phases. Not everything's going to happen, but you're still like bidding dice in other areas, watching to see if somebody else might lock that in and stuff. So that also has the problem for players like Beck, who feel frustrated when they don't get to do the thing that they put all these like resources and this time. They wasted a turn, but then again, the game kind of demands you to imagine that not everything's going to happen, and to try and like put your eggs in all these different baskets so that you at least get something to happen. So I think wandering was a good addition to this game, because then you don't lose everything. You at least still get like 1 gold. You know, it's not like completely pointless.
It's not OP as well, so you can't just run away by just wandering.
I will say my favorite thing, what put this game over the top from me, was that there are so many little mechanics without it feeling too complicated. Because every single round, this flips.
Yeah, that was
and you have different actions that will happen in different rounds. So you have...
Can you, like, at the start of the game, flick it like a $2 coin, and however it lands is how you start the game?
that would be cool. I don't know if that changes the balance, but that would be cool. But it means that
changes if you start on here and then you have full moon stuff versus if you have half moon stuff.
It just depends what they think are stronger, full moon or half moon, and how they balanced around that.
I mean, like, to that point, I do appreciate the fact that the full moons are independent of blood moons and that sort of thing. So blood moons are just going to happen anyway. So there are times when you have heroes that are stronger, but if you have hero abilities, like, it really doesn't matter if you're on there or if you're on there.
So what I was getting to, as Beck just mentioned, was there are actions that will happen during a blood moon.
I might clear out these other ones.
There are actions, they will let you get an extra ability during a blood moon. Things that will only occur during a action phase of so the plot phase of a half moon or a full moon, and then things that will only occur during an action phase of a full moon. So you don't get all these extra abilities all the time. You're not building an engine all the time, but it's just little bits on top of, all right, I need these people because they're strong for their attributes, along with clearing out the market and giving everyone an extra couple of cards, clearing out everything that's there. It's just the little things that show that a designer has gone, I think people need more choices, more reason to grab stuff, and that culminates in the legendary cards.
Yeah.
Because there are certain legendary... You're only going to see 2, 3, maybe 4 legendaries in a game. But there is a card here. Right, if I'd gotten this guy, I'd gotten that one early, her. She gives the ability that whenever you recruit an adventurer, you gain 2 gold and 1 fame. My whole game plan was recruiting adventurers.
Yeah.
That on its own is 5 victory points. And then extra gold and an extra... I probably would have gained an extra 5 victory points just from that ability. Because I was completing quests and using other abilities to get me basically free adventurer recruiting. So there is that little bit of, all right, this can culminate right for you, but it's not there every single game. And it's just that little bit of extra on top of then building towards the prestige that goes, cool, here's what I've managed to do in this game. You're not ever planning for a prestige from the outset. This is endgame points that you go, I think I've done more adventurers than anyone else. I can get this.
I mean, I bought my prestige in the last round of the game because I was like, well, I've done enough of these. It's going to count for points. If only I'd rolled better.
And all of this to ultimately say that I love that the main loop of the game, sequencing things and then using the cards that you get to do more actions, is really simple, but there's just lots of little bits on top that go, oh, but what if? Oh, but what if I do this? And it just makes the game really satisfying for me to play.
Yeah, okay. I got one criticism the game is great. It's fantastic. The one criticism I have is that the components are just way too messy and quite flimsy, in my opinion.
Yeah, I was going to say messy is not a strong suit for me. I think, sorry, I didn't mean to railroad you. It'd be cool to see them upgrade it. Like if they do like a 10-year anniversary, like even if it's just thicker cardboard so you can like put things in points.
Yeah, because it's not exactly an old game.
It's 5 years old.
Look at that. And also, it kind of bugs me that in your tableau you've got 2 main board pieces. They're not even the same size. They don't even really sort of go next to one another. And although everything is sort of mechanically as best it could be, I would love for there to just be things that have slots to put them in. Like the Architect's Lodge looks sort of like the roof on one of like the Santorini buildings.
Yeah.
Like, why not have it the exact size of the game board? Just little things like that.
I will say they're not the same size, so you can put your board just over the bit that needs to be hidden because these are open information.
Yeah, okay.
But I do get your point.
I think the only thing that I would then change at that point would slight design change, move the treasury from there to there, because you had to ask Chris several times how much money he had because it was hidden because we were in the last round of the game. Also, I just need the ribbon just to be like ironed in half just so they can sit over it. That's
Yeah,
a
these
personal
also-
thing.
I love these boards. I love the art on these boards.
I
Everyone gets their
appreciate-
own little style.
I appreciate that on the inside it is a cheat sheet. So while you're in the middle of stuff and you're trying to do something secretly, you can look at it and be like, does this answer my question?
Yeah.
It is a very, very good cheat sheet that will answer most of the questions you need in the game. Just quickly on theme, I think it's a great theme. It's a very good mix of fantasy and different elements from all around the world. It's not just lots of stuff. And one of the few games that has, because built in Australia, Indigenous Australian representation. I know it is in here somewhere. Apologies, I haven't been able to find it yet. It also is possibly not in the cards we have today because it's already been put back in the box. But just lots of really good stuff, really good representation. I think it's great.
Yeah. Great theme. I love D&D.
So ultimately, where would we rank it on the board? As I said at the start of the review, this is how we like to review games here. We rank it on the board. If you could grab that for us, Chris.
Of course.
So that we can decide what we would prefer to play if given the opportunity. This lets us take into account all the little things like setup, time, and play size, table size, and ultimately how much fun we actually had with this. I think, personally, I would still play this over anything else.
Yeah. That good.
On the game, Planet Unknown, on the board, I should say, Planet Unknown is close. This is a 2 to 3 hour game, while Planet Unknown is a 1 hour game with a lot of the similar choices where you go, oh, what if I do this? What if I do this? Planet Unknown is a little bit more forced down the road of you're just making the best of what you can. Well, this has those elements of what's everyone else doing? What do I need to do? We'll see how it re-ranks against the end of the year. This game is still up there for me personally. I would still play Battlestar Galactica or Concordia over this, but they're not on the board. So on our board right now, this hits the top for me.
Yep, I'm with you, Tom. Right at the top. Really, really, really good game. I want to play again with a different strategy against different people. People like Billy who are more cunning and willing to backstab.
Different guild that has different starting things.
Well, that's only because we played the tutorial. That is one thing we didn't talk about. This game has an inbuilt tutorial to teach you through the first round to show you how all the different mechanics work. Really great, really fun. You can go watch it at the start of our playthrough video. The base game, as it normally is, the cards are all randomized, and then you choose which bonus you want based on that.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to play that way.
Yeah.
So it really doesn't matter. You're just picking a color at the start of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Chris and I are putting it at the top. What are your thoughts?
It's definitely going top for me.
We know how much you love
it's-
Archaeos Society.
It's one of those. It's one of those things where it's like, I feel like I just ragged on it during the review section, but at the end of that, as Chris said, I want to play it again, even though it was 3 hours, and I'm like, I'm feeling it, Mr. Krabs. But it's like I see why you guys ranked it so high, because while it seems really involved, it's not that involved. Like everything's working together, but it all works together in a way that makes it very easy.
Yeah.
Above Archaeos?
No, it's not going above Archaeos because Archaeos is way easier than that, and you can pull it out. It's so simple to explain. No. I would play it over Ark Nova, and I've played Ark Nova.
There are so many good games on this list. That's the problem.
I'm believing you guys that Planet Unknown is a good game, so I'm probably going to put it above, like here.
Yep. All right. So average it out.
I mean, would you guys play Planet Unknown, or would you play this game?
I'd play this.
Okay.
I love Planet Unknown. I love Planet Unknown. I just think this game's just real special.
Yeah.
It just hits. It ticks that box, you know?
I've also explained it as this is a game for people who've played a lot of games.
Yeah, true.
And we have certainly played a lot of games.
Really?
This is a game that goes, here's a lot of elements, it's a lot of things from a lot of different places, and now think about what everyone else is doing and go, what's the right choice?
Yeah.
And I love that. It's cool. It's awesome. We have been Nerds of the West. Also, do keep in mind this game was sent to us, and we have a few relationships with the people from those in the Good Games publishing team. But check out this game. If you think it is right for you, let us know if you're going to be checking it out. We have a Beck.
Hi.
We have a Chris.
Goodbye.
My name is Tom. Thank you so much for watching, and we will catch you next time.